Why are humans scared of the dark? Right now, if the power went out in your house, your first move wouldn't be logic. It wouldn't be, let me calmly locate a flashlight. It would be your heart rate spiking before you even stood up. You'd freeze. Listen. Scan the room with your eyes, even though there's nothing to see. That reaction isn't a personality quirk. It's one of the oldest, most consistent responses in the entire human species. Every culture has it. Every child develops it, usually without being taught. It's older than language, older than fire, possibly older than the word human even applies to us. So here's the question. Why did evolution decide, out of everything it could have wired into our brains, that darkness itself deserves a 5-alarm fear response? To answer that, we have to go back. Not centuries, not even thousands of years. We're talking millions. Part 1. The Cave with Teeth Marks. In the 1980s, a South African paleoanthropologist named C.K. Bob Brain was digging through a site called Swartkrans, examining fossilized bones of early hominins, some of our ancestral relatives, dating back close to 2 million years. He found something unsettling: skulls with puncture marks. Not from tools, not from other hominins. The spacing matched something else entirely: the canine teeth of a leopard. Our ancestors weren't just occasionally bothered by predators. For a huge stretch of our evolutionary history, we were regularly on the menu. And here's the detail that matters most. Big cats like leopards do most of their hunting at night. Their eyes are built for it. Ours are not. Think about that. For millions of years, when the sun went down, the odds quietly shifted against us. Not because of monsters, because of biology. Humans have terrible night vision compared to almost every major predator we evolved alongside. Darkness wasn't scary because it was mysterious. It was scary because it was statistically dangerous. Part 2. The fire that didn't fully fix it. Eventually, we caught a break. Evidence from Wonderwerk Cave, also in South Africa, shows controlled fire use going back roughly 1 million years. That's early, long before modern humans even existed as a species. You'd think fire solved the problem, light back on, predators pushed back, threat neutralized. But here's the thing, fire didn't erase the dark. It just drew a small circle of safety and made everything outside that circle feel even blacker by comparison. Ever notice how a campfire makes the woods around it feel more ominous, not less? That's not your imagination, that's contrast. Your ancestors sat inside flickering light, staring out at a wall of black they couldn't see into, knowing something could be standing right at the edge of it. Fire didn't cancel the fear. It gave the fear a shape, the edge of the light. Part 3. A brain built to assume the worst. Here's what makes this so important. This isn't just, we don't like what we can't see. Your brain runs a specific, ancient calculation the moment light drops. Psychologists call this a fear generalization response. When you can't gather enough visual information to rule out danger, your nervous system defaults to assuming danger is present. It's not paranoia. It's a cost-benefit decision baked in by natural selection. Think about the math your ancestors were working with. If you heard a rustle in the bushes at night and assumed it was nothing, and you were wrong even 1 time in 100, that's it. Game over. No more genes passed on. But if you assumed danger every single time and were wrong 99 times out of 100, mildly annoying, slightly jumpy, still alive. Evolution doesn't reward accuracy. It rewards survival. And a brain that overreacts to darkness survives more often than a brain that stays calm and rational about it. That's not a flaw in your wiring. That's the wiring working exactly as designed. Part 4. Kids prove it wasn't taught. Here's a detail that seals the case. Fear of the dark isn't something parents accidentally install in toddlers through scary bedtime stories. It emerges on a fairly predictable developmental timeline, typically kicking in hardest between roughly ages 2 and 4. That's not a coincidence. That's roughly the age when a young child in an ancestral environment would start being mobile enough to wander from the safety of the group, but not yet strong, fast, or experienced enough to defend themselves. The fear shows up right when it would have been most useful. You didn't learn to be scared of the dark. You were issued the fear on a schedule, like a piece of standard equipment. And, same, honestly. If evolution's going to hand out free instincts, don't wander off into leopard territory as a toddler. is a pretty solid one to include. Part 5. The monsters are a bonus feature. Nearly every culture on Earth, independently, invented some version of a nighttime monster. Things that lurk, things with glowing eyes in the dark. Stories parents told, generation after generation, almost like they were reinforcing something that was already there. But here's the twist. The monsters came after the fear, not before it. Humans didn't get scared of the dark because of scary stories. We told scary stories because we were already scared, and stories were a useful way to encode the lesson. Don't go out there. It's not safe. Trust the fear. The folklore wasn't planting the fear. It was labeling it. Part 6. A fear that never got the memo. So here's the full picture. It starts with leopards hunting hominins in the dark, millions of years before fire. Then fire arrives, and instead of erasing the fear, it just draws a sharper line between safe and unsafe. Then evolution locks in a brain that assumes danger by default whenever visibility drops, because that mistake is cheap and the alternative mistake is fatal. Then that fear gets scheduled to switch on right when a wandering toddler would need it most. And then, on top of all of that, every culture on Earth builds folklore to reinforce a fear that was already fully installed. And now, here you are, living in a house with a working light bulb 30 seconds away. No leopards, no genuine predator waiting at the edge of your yard. And your body still doesn't believe it. That's why the power going out still gets your pulse up, even for a second. Your rational brain knows you're fine. But somewhere underneath that, a much older system is still running the exact same program that kept some very distant ancestor of yours alive long enough to have kids. Being afraid of the dark isn't a bug. It's basically a message, passed down across an almost unthinkable stretch of time from every single ancestor who made it through the night. If you've ever felt a little silly for turning on a light you didn't technically need, don't. You're not being irrational. You're just really, really old news, running in a really new body. If you want more of these, the weird, ancient reasons behind the stuff we do without thinking, stick around. There's a lot more where this came from,